Hey everyone, welcome back. In the previous video, we saw how to sort a list of custom objects with collections.sort using comparable interface. In the end, I mentioned that there is a limitation with comparable, and that is the reason we use comparator. In this video, we will understand that limitation first, and then we will sort the same list with a custom comparator. Finally, we will list out the differences between comparable and comparator, which is a very important comparison to understand if you are appearing in an interview. So, let's get started. This is a list of student objects. Each student object contains name and roll number, and we are sorting this list in ascending order of roll numbers. The student class is implementing comparable, and its compare to method that compares the roll numbers, and this determines the order in which the student objects will be sorted on the basis of roll numbers only. Now, this only is where the problem lies with comparable, that you can sort objects on the basis of one field only or one criteria only. Let's say if I want to sort the list of students based on increasing roll numbers at one time and then on the basis of their names alphabetically at another time, I cannot do that without changing the implementation of compare to, which is obviously not feasible. This is problem number one with comparable. Now, problem number two. In the current example, we have the source code of the class whose objects we have to sort. So, we can straight away go and change this class to implement comparable. But many times we have to sort some objects whose source code we do not have, or even if we have, we cannot change it due to many reasons. In such cases, we cannot use collections.sort since it will not allow the objects which do not use comparable. So, what do we do now? The solution is comparator. Comparator is another interface in java.util package which can be used to compare two objects. It has a method compare which accepts two arguments. These arguments are the objects to be compared with each other. Compare also returns an integer with three possible values: -1 if object 1 is lesser than the second, 0 if both are same, and 1 if first is greater than the second. Now, how does it solve the problems that we looked earlier? Let's say if I don't have the source code of student class and I want to sort its objects on the basis of roll numbers. I can create a new class that implements comparator. When we implement comparator, we have to implement its compare method. If you look here, the arguments are of type object. I can simply declare its generic type to be student and then change the argument types of compare method to student. To sort objects based on roll number, compare the roll numbers of both objects and return -1 if first object's roll number is lesser than the second, 0 if they are the same, and 1 if first object's roll number is greater than the second. This solves the second problem because I don't need the source code of this class for writing my comparator and sorting objects. Now, how to use this comparator? Collections class has an overloaded sort method which accepts the list to be sorted as argument, along with a comparator containing sorting logic. Also, remove comparable implementation from student class. Let's test this first. Print the original list before sorting and after sorting. Run this. The list is sorted in the increasing order of roll numbers. You can also use sort method defined in list interface if you work on Java versions 8 and above. Coming to the first problem to sort on the basis of multiple criteria, just as we saw how to create a new comparator class that sorts on the basis of roll number, we can create another new comparator class that sorts on the basis of names. Let's name it name comparator. Make this class implement comparator interface. Override its compare method. Simply call compare to method on names of students. Compared to implementation which sorts two string objects is already written in string class, so we can use it directly without writing on our own. Let's change the comparator provided to sort method. Run the program. The list is sorted on the basis of student names. So, we can create any number of comparators with each comparator defining different sorting criteria, unlike comparable, which can have only one. And we also don't need to modify the class whose objects we have to sort. If you are using Java version 8 and above, then you can also sort a list using streams and comparator. To do this, first get a stream using list.stream, followed by sorted method, and provide the comparator as argument. Sorted method returns a stream, so you need to convert it to a list using the toList method. This will return a new list object, so assign it to a new variable. If you are using this method, then there is another way to supply comparator. Instead of the comparator object, use comparator.comparing, and here you need to provide the method on whose field you want to sort. For example, if you want to sort on roll numbers, then change this method to getRollNumber. If you want to sort on names, then change this method to getNames. This syntax is called method reference, and we will look at it in great detail in coming videos. With this syntax, you don't even need a separate comparator class, which makes it very concise and easy to use. Now let's summarize the difference between comparable and comparator. If you have watched both the videos, then you will be able to list out most of these. The first and foremost difference is their package. While comparable lies in java.lang, comparator lies in java.util. With comparable, you can sort a collection only on one criteria, while with comparator, multiple sort criteria can be achieved. Using comparable requires you to modify the class, and for that, you need the source code. Comparator you can use without the source code. Java 8 and above versions provide quite a lot of support for comparator. If you see, the new sorted method added in list interface in Java 8 accepts a comparator. Apart from this, many new methods were added to comparator interface in Java 8, such as reversed, natural order, then comparing, comparing int, and many more, while no new methods were added to comparable. That is all for this video, in which we looked at using comparator to sort a list of objects. Hope the video was useful, and I'll see you in the next one.